And we're back.
Yay.
Studying Scudder's Little Pocketbook.
We're gonna study a book.
Oh boy. Here's a picture of someone's hands.
So do you have to click while you do this?
Yes.
Wow. So what's an L?
1,000? I have no idea what P is, but it's really big. Maybe it's 5,000.
I think it's just saying Pavia at the end. Because A is nothing.
Fair enough.
Avocado.
It does say avocado. That says Pavia again. 4 out of 5. The other one was 5 out of 5.
Well, I got nothing. This man keeps pretty well good care of his fingernails.
Hammer's foot. 3 out of 5.
Lungville.
3 out of 5.
Dixie Chicks.
Duncrossne
That whole last one was in parentheses.
was. Pavia 4 out of 5 again. Oops. I missed one. Now we're putting it away.
You should have died. If this was God of War, you would have died.
That's true. The writings. I was certain that Scudder never did anything without a reason, and I was pretty sure there was a cipher in all this.
Cipher in all of this.
The cipher. I have a head for things like chess and puzzles, and I used to reckon myself pretty good at finding out ciphers. These sets of figures looked like they corresponded to letters of the alphabet.
Are you fucking stupid, Hannah?
Maybe? The key word. I tried for hours, but none of the words answered.
Go back to the cipher. Got an idea, but it would take too long to figure out.
Fair enough.
I believe D's and C's are things like commas and periods, and L's are spaces. So like 17 would be the 17th letter. 17th letter, first letter, 25th letter, 21st letter. And that would be the end of a word.
Huh. Alright.
Want to figure out what those are and just see if that works for the first word? We're obviously not going to sit here and translate the whole thing, but...
Fair enough. Q. 17.
What? Yeah, that is right. Alright, well... Q-A-Y... Well, that doesn't work at all, does it?
I don't think so, no.
Could be going backwards, but then that would be a Z.
I thought you meant being read backwards, and I was like, YAQ isn't any better. I've played enough Words with Friends to know that you spell yak with a K.
Alright, I don't know.
Alright, moving on.
I still think that's right. Or at least getting there.
Yeah, that's
But
probably
it
close.
didn't spell anything. But nothing between the L's went over 26, so...
Fair enough. Chugga 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 chugga. Woo-hoo. Ooh, that's a shiny train. I like it. I woke up at Dumfries just in time to bundle out onto the crowded platform. There was a young man on the platform whose looks I didn't like, but he never glanced at me. I caught sight of myself in the mirror of an automatic machine with my brown face, my old tweeds, and my slouch. I was the very model of one of the hill farmers who were now crowding onto the third-class carriages. I boarded the Galloway train, traveling with half a dozen in an atmosphere of shag and clay pipes.
I want to shag with clay pipes.
No, not the same. They had come from the weekly market, and their mouths were full of prices. 11. Conversation. I heard accounts of how the lambing had gone up at the Cairn and the Dush and a dozen other mysterious waters.
Yay, lambing.
Who doesn't love lambing? Oh, right. Anybody. Above half the men had lunched heavily and were highly flavored with whiskey, but they took no notice of me on account of not having any whiskey.
So it sounds like you're familiar with lambing. What's that?
When a lamb is born.
That's it?
Yep.
Oh.
It's, very easy to fuck up. And then you lose the lamb and the sheep.
How do they do it without us?
Not well.
Hmm.
Like, domestic sheep are different from wild sheep. I'm not really sure what the difference is, but I know that, like, it's not impossible for a domestic sheep to have, 2 lambs. It happens. Whereas if a wild sheep has 2 lambs, they probably all 3 die. At the very least, one of the lambs dies for sure.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yay, lambing.
Also, sheep are stupid. Moving on.
Sheep are stupid, and people die at the fair.
People die at the fair. About 5 o'clock, the carriage had emptied, and I was left alone, as I hoped. Drifted slowly to the right-hand side of the carriage. It's where all of the magic dust motes were, as opposed to the other stupid dust motes.
Huh.
I got out at the next station.
Next station.
Next station! That's what it's called. It reminded me of one of those forgotten little stations in the Karoo. What's a Karoo? Got anything on that?
Something with a station.
Alright. An old station master with his spade over his shoulder sauntered to the train, took charge of a parcel, and went back to his potatoes. While a child of 10 received my ticket.
Honestly, it sounds like one of those words from Alice in Wonderland.
It does.
Karoo, Kaloo, Kalay.
Kaloo Kalay, he chortled in his joy. Woo woo! There's a path over here.
Of course, that was the Mad Hatter.
No, it wasn't. That's the, Mad Hatter isn't the one who recites the Jabberwocky.
Alright.
Is he?
Is Kaloo Kalay out of the Jabberwocky? Because I
Yeah.
don't think that it is.
It is.
Alright.
Was really in the slightly toved did Gyre and Gimble his way, while Mims was the Borogrove, the Momrath's outgrave.
I just assumed it was the Mad Hatter because the Mad Hatter villain in the Batman series says Kaloo Kalay a lot.
Fair enough.
But he also just really likes Alice in Wonderland.
I don't think it's the Mad Hatter that says it, but now I don't know. Anywho, I'm walking down this path. Onwards.
Maybe we'll run into a lambing.
It's where lambs explode out of sheep. Meh!
That was horrible.
It was.
It's going to destroy the noise. Don't do that.
I was getting very hungry when I eventually came to a herd's cottage.
It had recently caught fire.
A brown-faced woman greeted me with a kindly shyness of moorland places. When I asked for a night's lodging, she said I was welcome to the bed in the loft, and very soon she set before me a hearty meal of ham and eggs, scones, and thick sweet milk. I want to move in there.
Yeah, I want to know where you can live that you're just expected to feed people that show up at your doorstep.
1914.
Where you just belong to everyone else.
Yes. It's a yes. Anyway. Woo!
That is an imposing house.
Imposing?
That's not the word I meant, but I can't think of the right one.
Foreboding? Imposing?
Imposing. That's an
Aha.
imposing house.
It is both imposing and foreboding. At the darkening, her man came in from the hills, a lean giant who in one step covered as much ground as 3 paces of ordinary mortals.
I put my pants back on and ran.
They asked me no questions, for they had the perfect breeding of all dwellers in the wilds, but I could see they had set me down as a kind of dealer. I took some trouble to confirm their view.
Dealer of what exactly?
I was just trying to think of the possible answer to that. Sheep? They refused any payment, and by 6 the next morning I had breakfasted and was striding southwards again. Stride, stride, stride. Stride, 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 stride. Trip over the creek. Stride, 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 stride. There's words over this creek. All the slackness of the past months was slipping from my bones, and I stepped out like a 4-year-old. Which is a weird way to say that, because 4-year-olds are not known for their grace.
You know what? The 39 Steps is all the good parts of Lost Odyssey without any of the bullshit. Anyway.
My notion was to return to the railway line a station or two further on, to the place where I had alighted yesterday, and to double back. They'll never recognize me.
We should extract that plan, execute that plan next time.
You are having some vocabulary issues. Alright, there we go. I'm going to wait to read the rest of that until the next time on the 39 Steps.